The Franklin County Coroner has completed the autopsy of Casey Goodson Jr. It confirms 6 bullets struck the 23-year-old in his torso. This right here is a copy of the coroner's report. Attorneys for Goodson's family made it public late this evening.
And what we can tell you from our initial review of the findings of this, and we've got to tell you, Carrie and I have had this for less than 20 minutes. The coroner details each gunshot wound. All of them are to the back. 2 of the entrance wounds are listed as being mid-back, 2 left back, and 1 to the right side of his back, also 1 to the right buttock. So again, all 6 bullets to the back of his torso. In addition, the coroner says there were gun fragment wounds to the backs of Goodson's arms. All of the wounds are described in great detail in the post-mortem examination. It describes how the bullets entered his body, the internal damage they did. Also released today, the toxicology results. Goodson's blood was negative for more than a dozen drugs. He did test positive for nicotine products and positive for cannabinoids. However, the cannabinoid level was listed as LOQ. What that means is limit of quantiation. Essentially, the level was so low it cannot be quantified. It can be detected, but it is not measurable.
Now, you'll remember last month I actually sat down, spoke exclusively with Casey Goodson's mother, Tamala Payne, and one of her attorneys, Sean Walton. They told me that the results of a private examination that they had conducted, that it showed the information that we just reported to you. At the time, they said they saw a photo of the body. It showed 5 bullet wounds to Goodson's back and his buttocks. Now, Goodson was shot and killed as he entered his family's home on December 4th. He just returned from a dental appointment, walking in the door with Subway sandwiches for his family. Franklin County Sheriff's Deputy Jason Meade killed Goodson. He said Goodson pointed his gun at him. Initially, investigators also said that Goodson waved his gun at members of a U.S. Marshals task force who were in the North Columbus neighborhood. They were looking for a suspect, not Goodson. A week later, there were also some questions between the U.S. Marshal's office and the Sheriff's office about which agency Meade was actually working for at the time of the shooting, and of course, what actually happened between Goodson and Meade. So many questions because they were the only 2 there on the scene. We were talking about this. You said to our viewers just a moment ago, we've only had this information here for about 20 minutes or so. You have great legal experience as an attorney. What's next?
Well, what will be next is the prosecutor's office will also be looking at this. There have been a lot of questions about whether or not any charges would be filed against that deputy. It goes into that stage now. What does this tell investigators? What does this mean to their investigation about Jason Meade's actions that day? There will be attention paid to the fact that there were cannabinoids in his system. But if you are Casey Goodson's family, you're going to point out it was almost undetectable. What that would probably mean to the investigators, to Goodson's family, is he was not impaired that day. At the time of this shooting, his behavior would have not been affected by anything in his system. Again, the only other positive, there were 2 nicotine products that showed up in his system, and he was a smoker, so that's not surprising. That was at quantifiable levels. What I found really interesting, again, we want to be honest with everyone, you're getting our first blush look at this. One of the things that struck me, in addition to the key evidence that 6 bullets hit him in the back, the coroner was not able to quantify for any of them the range of how far away the deputy was from Goodson. That's indeterminate. So that's something that maybe they'll try to reconstruct. Maybe the investigators who are on the scene that looking into this will know more about that. But what we can tell you is all of the bullets, as the family claimed, went into the back part of his torso. We want to take you back and just remind you that Columbus Police, the FBI, Department of Justice also having investigations into this case. If you remember, this happened on the Friday. Columbus Police sent a release to the media saying that the Bureau of Criminal Investigation will be taking this case. Right. And we heard from the BCI saying, no, that's not the case. You all waited too long. You pointed out how the attorney's family would also bring up, certain issues to pinpoint that, whatever drugs were in his system, they weren't relevant at the time. But remember, there was also the conversation about him having a gun, and his mother essentially said, big deal. He was licensed to carry a gun. He was an aspiring firearms instructor. He spoke with the family often about safety and when it came to guns. So that's something I'd imagine the attorneys are going to continue to press. Yeah, what will happen is we know that there is an investigation underway. The investigators are compiling all of that that evidence, the physical evidence, what they found, where the gun was located that he owned, the position of his body, all of those photographs. That investigation will be put together in a packet, and that then is handed over to the prosecutor's office to see will there be charges that come out of this. Obviously, the family wants charges. People have been concerned about this case, about how and why Jason Meade was separated from the rest of the marshals during that investigation. He was a deputy who was working with them. Who was he working for?
Yeah.
Who was he under? Whose direction was he under at the time of the shooting? All of that has to be put together in recommendations made by the investigators. So a lot of this is still up in the air. This does, however, answer a lot of questions about how and where he was shot. All of the injuries to his back, and there were 6 of them. And
this is exactly what the family told me when we sat down last month. So we're going to continue to follow this. We will be speaking with Attorney Walton. We will have more for you coming up tonight on NBC4 at 11.